off. Okay. However, I've seen it done at Sanford's in town. So that's a fish processing place on is that Salt Point or where the bridge is. And they just take the fish here and they just whop straight off. Turn it over, whop straight off.
Do we cut the head off?
So the way that I'm going to show you, and it's not the only way, the way I'm going to show you is you're going to cut, because there's a lot of flesh up here, cut basically through there. Okay, so you expose where you're trying to cut. So we're trying to take off all that flesh of the meat there. Now there's a rib cage here, we've got to cut through those bones. That's the part that's hard. So we just turn our knife around and use a knife like a saw, keep going all the way down, and I'm aiming the knife slightly towards the backbone. Just have a look to see what I'm trying to achieve. Okay, so not lose too much fish on there. When you get to this bit, run your knife out and you should have fish. That's the fastest way I've seen it being done. It's just that way. It may not be the best way to get all the meat off. So again, just taking, you can hear the backbone being scratched as I run my knife. Yeah, you're trying to, I mean, I'm actually cutting part of the backbone there, but I don't want to leave any meat on there if I can. And that's it. This part here, you take home for fish heads. This part here.
Buried in your garden.
Yeah, I don't know. This part here, normally you would, in the kitchen, they'd turn it into a stock.
It's just like a fly right on the floor.
Okay, now that we've got that part, that becomes stock. Okay? This part here we've got a bone structure, which is your rib cage in here. So there's bones that run here. So the way that I get rid of it is I just take my knife, face it away from you, and just go under there. And that takes out those bones there. This is not much good there, that's just, so that becomes part of that. So I'll do that again on this one.
So they have no bones in it now?
Not yet. It still does. It has bone structures through there. That's those bones here that we've got to get rid of. That's why we've got to keep our doors shut, guys, because of the flies. But today we might have open because of the... Okay, also you have bones, and you can feel them that start there. So the way that we remove those, just cut a little, those bones out, lift it out. Okay, and then you feel it to see if there's any left, and I've got a little bit here. Okay, so that's our fish without any bones. So again, you can feel that's where it starts. So I take my knife as close as I can to that, on either side of it. That's why your fish, when you get your fish and chips, often it looks that sort of shape. Okay, I've got a bit of bone here, which I just need to remove. So I'm just going around feeling. Now you might feel hard bits there. That's from the top off. That's right, it's just this stuff. It's oil from your. Now you might get this bone here. That's just from the top of your. Yeah, just from where the rib cage is. This bone here. You're just taking the top off there. So that's got to come out. Right, this is perhaps the harder part that most people find is getting the skin off it. Make sure the skin is sitting flat on the board. And basically with the knife, we're running it that way. As long as you're not lifting the skin, it should come off. So I'm just checking to see I'm on track. Check again. I should be able to just run that fish off, and you should leave the skin there when you're doing it. Okay? So that's our fish fillet. Checking that I'm cutting right. Make sure it's sitting flat. If it doesn't, then you can fix stuff, but it just takes a little bit longer. Okay, so I'm just taking off all that skin. You can cook with skin on, nothing wrong with it. Just got to make sure all the scales are off. And that's pretty much it. Then I just make sure there's bits of scale that come on. I pop it into a bowl ready to go, and I feel, make sure there's no bits of bone. So that should be boneless now and ready to eat.